Hello everyone, it's time for another amazing charging curve, and today we have the Kia EV3 with the small battery, 58 kWh, 55 kWh can be used. And I already tested the big battery EV3 with the 81.4, I think 78 kWh can be used. And again, Kia is saying 30 minutes, 10 to 80%. We'll see if this is correct. I charged the car from 9 I think to 80% at Ionity after 130 kilometers an hour range test. Battery should have been warm. We don't have a high peak. Kia says 100 kilowatt, but with 30 minutes that means that high power should stay on for a bit longer. If your company has electric cars as company cars, of course you want your employee to charge at home. It's cheaper for you and it's easier for the employee. Tronity has a software solution for you to know how much you have to pay your employee for charging at home. With the Fleet Manager you manage your employees and your cars. Tronity connects to the cars and knows exactly when the car is charging at home and how much. And then you get an easy monthly bill for your employee. If you want to know more, there's a link in the description below. Here we are, right away it goes up to 90 kilowatt, 365 volt or something, only 250 amps. But the amazing thing, and this is the same as it was in the big battery, it goes to almost the peak and it stays there for a very, very long time, where other cars have a high peak on the bottom and then it goes down very fast. The good thing with the other curve is, of course, that you can have, if you only charge to 50%, you get more energy. And here we all have the peak, 102 kilowatt. Then we go down a bit to 98. It was at 55%. But when do we really go down? Still above 90 kilowatt. Here we go to 66%, we go to 84 kilowatt, which is still okay. And then at 71%, we go to 55 kilowatt. This is where you have to leave, otherwise charging will take way too long. We already 416 volt, 35, 34, 33 kilowatt at 80%. That is of course not amazing. So if you want to charge this car to 100% on a high power charger, that will take a bit. And by the way, if you want to compare other cars, how they charge by yourself, the spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet of all my charging sessions, there's a link in the description below. And here we have the curve, and as you can see, goes up right away to the 90 kilowatt and then steadily to around 102, a bit down, but still, I would say, like we said, at 66% when it goes down to 84, and then at 71% down to 55, and then here in the end all the way down. It took me 31 minutes, 10 to 80%, so very, very close to the best that Kia says it can do. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery, where I started vlogging. So every few days there's a new video, what's happening with the car or at home and with equipment and stuff like this. Comparison with other cars. In this graph I have in red the Kia EV3 that we just tested with a small battery. In blue the EV3 with the big battery, with the 81 kilowatt hour. Battery. In yellow I have the Volkswagen ID.3 Pro, the new version with the 59 kilowatt hour battery, and in green we have the BMW iX1 xDrive 30, I think it was. When we see the times, EV3 small battery 31 minutes, EV3 big battery 33 minutes. I don't know why both cars didn't achieve the 30 minutes. The ID.3 takes 26 minutes, the iX1 35 minutes. And when we see the curves in the beginning, this is what I just said. The ID.3 is above all of them because there's a very high peak in the bottom. But then at around 30%, the big battery of the EV3 is above all the rest because it steadily goes up to the 130 kilowatt and then in steps goes down. Where the other ones have high and then low. We see this with the BMW iX1 too, the highest peak here, but then goes slower down and a bit less than the ID.3. But the BMW is under the ID.3 all the time, except for this tiny little dip here. And we also see that the EV3 is under all of them until 46%. Then it's very similar to the ID.3, so that's why the times difference, 26 minutes ID.3, 31 minutes, or 5 minutes faster on the ID.3. Range charged into the battery over time. I took the 130 kilometers an hour range test average consumption and then the kilowatt hours charged, so there is charging loss in there, but in all the same. And then I calculated the range, and here we have the graph with the same cars. In blue is the, not EX, it's the EV3. In red, EV3 with the big battery, in yellow the ID.3, and in green the iX1. And the ID.3 is, even though it has the smallest battery, it charges the most range into the battery, up to 25 minutes, where the EV3 with the big battery surpasses him, because it just still charges with 130 kilowatt, where the ID.3 goes down. The lowest is the EV3, and this is because the charging is not that amazing compared to the other cars, and it still has a bit of a higher consumption. In my range test it was around 200 watt hours per kilometer. The ID.3 has similar consumption, but overall I think it's a tiny bit better since it's not that boxy, it's not an SUV mid-size. The iX1 had a bit of higher consumption, and that's where this graph comes from. So it is as expected. When I tested the EV3 with the big battery, I was happy that yes, the peak is not amazing, 130 kilowatt for an 81 kilowatt hour battery, but it was on for a very long time. And here it's the same with the small battery, 100 kilowatt peak, 102, but stays on till almost 71%. At 71 it's just 55 kilowatt. That is something that other cars have done above 80% and so, and then underneath they have 170 or something. So it's not an amazing charging car, but it's not the end of the world. 30 minutes, 10 to 80% is okay for today, not incredible. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BettyLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching, have a great day and take care. Bye!